You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Foobar, One Nation Under Foo, and I am your host, the delightful, the debonair, the lovely, the Foo. And with me, as always, is your favorite Amish online, Ordy Packard. Ordy, are you there?
I am. I am just taking a break from shooting hundreds of cattle and hogs.
Well, thank God for that, because, boy, that is really time-consuming, aren't they? Oh, my God, people are so dumb.
God, that was the darkest rebuttal I have. Oh, while you were farming in Maryland, Ron DeSantis was killing hundreds of cattle and hogs.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
No, I did. Unfortunately, I did. I heard all of that. No,
did you see the NRA troll him with a Chick-fil-A ad?
No, I did not. I missed that. I was too busy trying to ignore all of the crazy, and I ended up not looking at Twitter most of the day because of it. So
the NRA replied with the Chick-fil-A "Eat More Chicken," the 3 cows holding up the sign.
I love the NRA. Whoever runs their social media is like my spirit animal. I'm telling you what. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Orrin Hatch's social media is mine.
Well, people, I wonder who runs the account, because it's not Orrin. I mean, Orrin is good, but he's not that good. It's kind of the Wendy's account. Have you ever watched the Wendy's account?
Yeah, the Wendy's account is, yeah.
They are the bomb. I mean, they're really good at it, and they don't say anything stupid that people won't go eat at Wendy's anymore. They're just really good at it. So, yeah. You know who could learn a thing or two from Wendy's is Ron Perlman. You knew I was going to bring that up.
You were chomping at the bit before we opened.
Are you kidding?
You're just like, Ron Perlman's yelling at me. I've got to get on the air.
Oh my God, he's always mad at Twitchy, and it's okay. We pick at him. We do. We give him a hard time.
You would think for somebody who's always mad at Twitchy, he could get the tag right.
Or he would, but he thinks we're Russian spies or something, or Russian operatives, or I don't know what he thinks.
He didn't do at Twitchy team. He did at Twitchy, which is just some random guy that is getting his mentions destroyed because Bitch Tits is an idiot.
There's going to have all these people who love
the following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Parental discretion is advised.
It's like, oh crap, we need to do our little disclaimer. Don't let your kids listen to this show. We will warp them. Thank you. But no, he's I don't know what he's mad about. Oh, you know what he's mad about? I know what he's mad about. Because yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, I wrote about him because he basically was comparing McConnell, saying that, things were going to move forward with Kavanaugh to how the Holocaust didn't move forward or something. You never want to compare anything to the Holocaust. So I poked at him. I guess he thinks I misquoted him. I don't know. So now he's sending us this Raw Story about Nazis, and I'm just like, really, dude? Raw Story is the group that went after Steve Scalise, of course, 2 days ago. So he's quoting somebody so Steve Scalise says, hey, these violent threats really should stop. Someone's going to get hurt, blah, blah, blah. Their senior editor, like Martin Sismar or something.
I don't know. I have more followers than he does.
Well, hello. And he's like, hey, boo-hoo, big baby. I'm like, hey, dumbass, he got shot.
Well, no, he tripled, quadrupled. He made a whole day of it. And then he had one of the Raw Story reporters come in back. Well, he's one of the most kind and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
no, he's not. He's an asshole.
And that dude was getting ratioed too. I'm like, is the only way anybody reads Raw Story is by getting ratioed?
So what Ron does is Ron quotes the guy who went after Steve Scalise to prove to me, or Twitchy, that his Nazi comment made sense. I guess. I don't know. So if you're using Raw Story to validate what you said is stupid. Merry Christmas.
Right.
Oh, my God. And that's why we make fun of him. I think it started 6 months ago or something, and he said something stupid like he always does. Oh, he posted a picture of Obama. And he's like, hey, guys, my awesome rad followers captioned this. And, it's Obama standing with Putin or whatever. And so people, on the conservative side start sending stuff about, mom jeans and, Ronnie and playing cards and whatever. So I wrote about it. Well, he got really pissed off. And he's like, clearly these are some Russian spies working for – these are Putin's puppets working, because those Twitchy people are all Russian spies. So we made fun of him there. And we wrote a whole headline in Russian, actually, to troll him, and he got mad again, and it's kind of this ongoing thing between him and Tom Arnold, Alyssa Milano.
Oh my God, did you see Tom Arnold and Dean Cain yesterday?
Dean Cain bitch slapped him, man. I mean, yeah, pull on Superman's cape, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I could just picture those two facing off, and the whole thing was because Dean Cain's in the Gosnell movie.
Yeah.
And so Tom Arnold's like, that movie sucks and blah, blah, blah. And he takes his glasses off. I'm sorry. At that point, I swing.
I swing too.
I mean, I'm not going to wait for him to, go Marcus of Queensberry on me and,
I'm going to swing. I would love to swing. Well, but what's funny is maybe, I think it was a month ago, so the guy was at MGM, one of those execs apparently got into a fist fight with him at an Emmys party. Did you see that?
With Tom Arnold?
Yeah, Tom Arnold claimed that the guy from MGM, attacked him and, ripped his, opened his shirt up about Trump. They're going to pick a fight, and Tom calls the cops or something.
I missed that. I must have been suspended at the time.
You must have been, because I wrote about that, too. I write about everybody being stupid. So Tom hates this, but not quite as much as Ron Perlman. So, good times. We should invite him.
I don't know. You had Tom's, was it Tom? No, that was a dollar loan guy. His publicist threatened to sue you or something.
No. Okay, Montel Williams, that's his PR guy, John something. Yeah, he was screaming and yelling at me for picking on Montel. Yeah. It's really funny how many grown men get upset with little old me.
Well, what was funny was just I want to talk to your supervisor, and I just pictured the suburban mom with the overdone hair,
I'm like, and he would only talk to this one other editor because he thought he was my boss. And whatever, It doesn't matter. People think.
Yeah, you own Twitchy. Who?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? So yeah, I'm always making somebody mad. What else is new? Yeah, good week.
And I always make you mad, so that way shit rolls downhill.
It balances out eventually, doesn't it?
Yes. Or
yeah, something like that. So, how's your
week? Shit rolling downhill.
No.
I've got to segue into this just because it is so San Francisco.
Oh my God!
I think I sent this to you last night too, but I forgot you were off today. App developers have created Snapcrap.
Oh,
it's an app so San Franciscans can report human waste on the streets to the Public Works Department.
Gosh, that's helpful.
This is the world we live in now. Phil.
No, that is the state you live in.
Yeah.
There's some crazy crap on the East Coast. Haha, see that little crap dick. But we don't have poop in this. Well, you never know.
I don't know. I just drive by New York City when I'm on the East Coast. I don't actually go in it. So.
Oh, it's a hoot. I've been there a couple times, and I don't plan on going back. It's great. So you have a snap crap, is that what it's called?
Yeah, snap crap. That's actually what it's called. Like Snapchat, snap crap.
Yeah.
So apparently you're supposed to take a picture and then a GPS and it sends it to the Public Works Department. And when I told G about this, he brought it up a few months ago on how they have a whole sub department of the Public Works Department in San Francisco who is tasked with just going out and collecting and removing shit.
So what do you do for a living? Oh, well, this and that, pick up some crap, Like,
at least if you're going to,
but you know what? It's probably a city job, so it probably pays really well.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, people say, well, what's the difference between that and sanitation workers who go into sewers? Well, the sewers have chuds. You have entertainment down there.
Yeah, but
all you got on the streets of San Francisco is burnout hippies playing wannabe Jerry Garcia and blue-haired little she-twinks trying to.
But in the sewer, you kind of expect to see some feces, maybe, but you really shouldn't be walking the streets. And oops, there's some crap on the street.
Look at that beautiful statue of John Sutter.
Now, that's terrible. It's awful. Democrats, they have not had a Republican mayor in over 50 years.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
You can tell. Crap in the streets as far as you can see. And speaking of crap in the streets as far as you can see, listen to this segue. They confirmed Kavanaugh over the weekend, and people lost their GD minds.
Let's all have a beer with Kavanaugh.
Oh, my God, I would still have a beer with the guy. I would. Absolutely. I covered him, and I've been reading it, and I've been insane. And when they finally confirmed him on Saturday, I was so excited. I'm bouncing around my office like an idiot. Husband's watching college football. My kids are doing all their crap, and crazy mom is in her office bouncing around over a SCOTUS judge. This is I have nerddom times 10 now. I laugh at Constitution jokes. I'm gone. It's done. I'm no longer, there's nothing hip about me anymore. I am a political junkie. That's all there is to it.
Yes, but now the ghost of Merrill Garland can get some rest.
Oh, my God, Merrill Garland. Oh, Stephen King, you poor dumb bastard. He tries so hard, and I just think he should stick with fiction.
I loved it during the whole Kavanaugh thing when he was going on and on about, consent and sexual assault, and I'd just be like, dude, you wrote a book about how a whole bunch of preteens had to gangbang their one female friend in order to make a monster go away.
Yeah.
People in glass houses should not throw rocks.
Or something. People who have been hit by vans probably shouldn't do political commentary. It's like once he got hit and left in that ditch, he kind of just lost it.
You know what? That's when the Dark Tower series started getting bad, and he actually started writing himself into it. He wrote the accident into the series.
Well, of course he did. It's all about him now. So, but yeah, Merrill Garland. There you go.
And that was the other thing. Mo had a great tweet on it too. Is that finally the Robert Bork seat has been filled.
Oh my God! See, I laugh at that.
Yeah.
But people who have lives don't laugh at that. They don't. They're like, "Who the hell? What are you talking about?" And I go, because I get it. It's really bad. It's so dumb. I realize I can't stop knowing these things. It's pathetic. Like someone's like, "Hey, let me get a joke about the 17th Amendment." And I'm like, oh my God, what has happened to me? I used to be so funny, and now I'm sad. So
it was the 30 years you spent trapped in the theater.
Oh, of course, that's what it was.
Actually, you're just misremembering your past. You were never that funny.
Yeah.
Somebody asked you, man. Producers stay quiet during the show. Thank you very much. I'm hilarious, damn it.
Somebody should tell Amy that. That's just saying.
That's why I'm just here for fart noises.
But that's funnier. Fart noises are at least funny.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure politics is funny anymore. Hillary Clinton, she's funny.
Yeah, you just sounded like the unknown comic.
Oh my God.
Hillary Clinton, she's funny. What's in the news?
Funny. Hey, here we go. But she's funny. You know why she's funny? Because she's not funny. She basically said, hey, we had to kick the shit out of the Republicans now.
Her whole existence is self-ownership.
Between her and Holder and Maxine Waters, it's like they're picking a fight with a really big, strong kid, and that big, strong kid's going to just beat the shit out of them eventually, and then they're going to cry that we're the mean ones.
Yeah.
That's what irritates me. I don't mind if they want to talk smack and they want to get all up in my space and they're going to resist. But if I slap you around because you get in my space, don't cry because you got in my space first. Like this guy last night, he was going after CJ. Is it Pearson?
Yeah, CJ Pearson.
Thank you. The black teenager who's a conservative, and he called him a boy. And then he deleted it, and he got all mad when people pointed out that it was kind of racist. And I'm gay, and I'm married to a Puerto Rican. I'm like, I don't give a shit if you're purple and green. You should never have said what you said to this guy. Then he cried. This is what's going to happen with all of these people. Picking a fight with the right, they're going to be like, oh, my God, they really are the Nazis. If you stick your finger in my eye, I'm going to take it off. And that is just the reality of who we are.
Well, it's like I say on, a lot, is that pray that we never become what you accuse us of being.
Holy shit. I mean, if I was as evil and deadly as they claim we are, these people, they'd all be gone.
Yeah, I still don't have my broodmares. Day 4 of Kavanaugh being on the SCOTUS, and where are the handmaids?
Nobody's making me like have babies yet. I keep waiting for that. The day that they got confirmed, I went for a walk, and I'm like, where are all the dead bodies already? And then I remembered that maybe it was a net neutrality, and then it was a tax cut. Maybe they're already dead, Did you see, like,
the dead shall rise to die again?
Or vote. Did you see? It was the first day of Kavanaugh's being on the bench, and there were like 8 protesters out there. Man, and there were like 2 of them were dressed up as handmaid sales or whatever.
Yeah, banging on the door.
Yeah, that was nobody did that. After he got confirmed, nothing happened. So 8 people show up to bitch and moan that he's been confirmed. 8 whole people.
Wait, hang on a second. Chat, we're not allowed to say mob. Okay, Brooke Baldwin told us we cannot say mob, and Don Lemon had a meltdown about the word. That is the new Chicago.
Mob and boobs. We cannot say. She doesn't like the word boobs either. Clay Travis said the word boobs, and she about had a heart attack.
I asked her yesterday. I said, so, I mean, since we can't say mob, and going back to that whole boobs thing, how have you survived with your network running a porn star for 3 weeks straight?
Oh, Stormy and Michael Avenatti. Watching the Democrats complain about Michael Avenatti has been the best thing about Twitter. It's been so good.
He's been the best thing about the Dems.
Well, he picked a fight. He wants to do some kind of MMA fight or whatever with Donald Trump Jr. And, we'll do it for charity. People, he complains, I'm not the porn lawyer. No one takes me seriously. And then he's like, I'm going to kick Donald Trump Jr.'s ass. I'm like, okay, dude. Really? The Senate Democrats are like, you screwed up our case. It's so...
Did you see the California judge that told him get off Twitter? You were supposed to be in court in 45 minutes.
No, I missed that. Damn. No,
he was supposed to appear in court because he owes his former law partner $10 million.
Right. He owes a shit ton of money. He's bankrupt. His ex-wife said he's dangerous and violent.
And the rumor was the judge told the bailiff, go tell him to get off Twitter and get in the courtroom.
I really, really hope the Democrats run him in 2020. We thought Hillary was fun.
I don't know. They're throwing him under the bus pretty hard.
Well, they're pushing Kamala Harris. Did you see them all? They were talking about how she's the female Obama. And people were like, we thought Obama was the female Obama. And I just died. Right. I know it's really wrong and it's childish, but I was like, see, I have that geeky political. My kids are like, I don't get it. And I'm laughing like an idiot, But yeah, she's the new
That's
female.
When you show him the picture of in the mom jeans and when he's dancing and when, I'm sorry, everybody gives Bush shit for when he was dancing with, that he at least had rhythm.
Yeah, he did. He really did. Good old Bush.
Bill Clinton was our only black president.
Oh, boy, Bill Clinton. Oh, don't get me started. We're going to get
mail for that one.
You are, not me. I'll send them all to you. Thank you very much. I get enough hate mail as it is. You can have that one. That's for you.
Yeah, but they can't say mob.
Can't say mob
anymore. It's the M word.
And someone said moobs. Can we say moobs? We should ask her if moobs is okay.
Yeah, moobs okay.
There are a lot of words we have to worry about these days. Yeah, Don Lemon. People talking about Don Lemon in there too, and the token Negro comment. And when I take a day off, that's when everybody loses their damn mind when I'm not around. It gets worse. I'm not there to pay attention. I'm like, oh, did he really do that?
I think I feel when I'm suspended. Y'all run amok.
You're always suspended. That's the thing. That's like you're saying, Amish and being suspended.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Hey, I know. I'm shocked. I can't believe you haven't gotten in trouble yet.
I like your DMs. You might want to go delete that tweet.
Hey, dude, you'll get suspended over that crap. Delete that. What are you thinking? Yeah. See, I babysit. It's terrible. I'm a nag. It's a conservative thing.
Mom.
Oh, I really am. I tell you what, my son. Okay, side note from politics. My son is playing Dungeons and Dragons at school. There's this.
Attaboy!
Yeah, right? Well, anyway, I don't know anything about it, but he's an orc or half orc or something. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
And he named himself Dingo Ate My Baby.
Sure. Okay.
I don't. It must be a gamer thing. I don't get it. But anyway, he's
not
a orc.
Get Dingoes Ate My Baby?
Yeah, he's Dingo Ate My Baby.
No, did you not get that reference?
I don't get it. No,
it originally started in Quigley Down Under, and then it was referenced in an episode of Seinfeld.
Well, he's Dingo Ate My Baby. He's half orc. And he's like an anti-hero or something. I don't know. Sure. But he was very excited today because they had Dungeons and Dragons Club, and I pick him up after school, and I found he's like, Mom, I killed a blacksmith. I'm like, is that a good thing? What are you doing? He's all excited. Yeah, he was ripping us off. He was charging us too much for everything. I'm like, so you killed the guy because he charged you too much?
That That was the second American moral panic was Dungeons and Dragons. The first one being rock and roll.
Yes.
And then they took a few years off, and then they had a moral panic over Dungeons and Dragons and how all of us who played it were going to be Satanists. And
yeah, I didn't play it. I was not interested, but apparently he has a wizard on his team and some elf half-orc thing, and they had a blast, and I have no idea. So I'm the mom. It's over my head. But yeah, Dingo ate my baby, killed the blacksmith because they charged him too much for his products.
Okay, now you have to go watch Quigley Down Under because that is probably one of Tom Selleck's finest movies.
No, I'm not going to go watch that.
Do it.
No.
Chat, help me out on this.
No, Chad, ignore him. Ignore him. I know you love him, Chad, but ignore him. God,
anything with Tom Selleck in it is awesome.
Right? What was that World War I movie that wasn't... Does anybody remember that? He was like a mercenary kind of guy who flew planes in World War I and... Hey, whatever.
No, that would be... You're the Tom Selleck guy. That'll be your new thing, Tom Selleck.
I'm the Tom Selleck guy. Yeah, the new Magnum PI sucks. Don't waste your time with it.
I have not even bothered. I don't know why they're remaking stuff. I have not watched it. I don't have time because, I feel like this is all I do.
They don't remake the terrible things or the things that were canceled early. They make the good things that had an excellent run through their total lifetime, had a satisfying conclusion. No, anyway. Whatever.
Okay, old man. Yeah. No, there's a couple of things I had on my list, and I don't know if you made a list. I actually kind of looked around to talk about stuff.
I did make a list.
Nikki Haley. I know you love her.
Oh, I love her so. God, that picture of her in the White House with Trump and her legs. She's just got amazing legs.
You know what? We're gonna get letters.
So hot.
She's done.
She is not done yet.
I rode to China.
She is not done yet. She's still in office until December.
But she's resigning. She's done. And I love how people were pushing conspiracy.
I have 2.5 more months to stare at those gams. Don't judge me.
Yeah, that's great. She has been... Did you see Costa pushing the conspiracy that she left because of private plane usage? That was my favorite.
Yeah.
What the hell is he talking about? It was like it was on using it. Hey,
that is actually like the lowest hanging fruit to bash Acosta about the head and neck with the use of private planes.
Oh my
because
God.
we could take the entire Obama administration and the misuse of
everything. Yeah, but it was really funny because she had just made the announcement, and she even mentioned that 6 months ago she and Trump had talked about it, that she probably would need a break, and so he kind of knew it was coming. We just didn't. And the moment she does it, you see all the media explodes, and Jim Acosta's like, "Well, it just came out yesterday that she was misusing private planes," but he said private plans, which was really funny. He was in such a rush to break.
It's another decorator scandal. She was using private plans.
It was private plans. It was the curtains that did it. Oh my God. They're terrified of her. They think she's going to run, so they're trying to eat her up before she can even get out the gate. And they should be scared of her because she's conservative. She's a woman of color. Sorry, she is, folks. And she is a badass taking names. So she's coming for all of them. I hope she takes a break and then she comes back and she runs because, boy, it's on.
Yeah, I saw a credible theory the other day that she was going to resign, Sessions was going to get moved up, or somebody was going to get moved up, and then she could be nominated to the Senate for...
Graham. So what they were going to do, this was Bob.
Oh, that's right.
Crap. Yeah. Basically, they think what's going to happen is that she'll resign, then Sessions will resign, quotation marks, resign, then Lindsey Graham will become AG. And then they will appoint her to fill Lindsey Graham's seat. South Carolina. There you go.
Sure.
Straightforward from there. I don't know. That was the big thing. I just think she's probably done and fried, and dealing with the UN would make anybody insane, but we'll see. We'll see. But I was really bummed out because she's probably one of my favorite parts of the Trump administration. It's kind of like when Spicer left. I know a lot of people give Spicer a lot of flack. But what made him great was the parody account of him, the Sean Spicier account.
Yeah, the Spicier account is awesome.
And they still think it's him. And they still think a lot of these people still think he's the press secretary, which tells you what we're dealing with on the left. What you realize when you argue with these folks, and it's not even a debate anymore because your debate would be, well, here's my point. Well, here's my point back, and here's why I disagree with you. I mean, it doesn't turn into, hey, die in a fire, your mom's a bitch. I mean, this is what we're doing now. We're arguing, and if you argue with anybody on the left, what you find out is they're pissed off about things that aren't even real and that they don't even know. and that it's just an ignorance about everything, like the Obamacare stuff. Democrats are trying right now to keep Trump from being able to provide Americans with a choice for their insurance, basically calling it junk insurance, because if Bob doesn't need to have a freaking, pap smear, and Bob doesn't need full coverage, he just needs it if he gets hurt, that's junk insurance. And so what they're doing is they're trying to keep Americans from having a choice about health care. And then they tell people that it's about keeping people from pre-existing conditions from having health insurance. And they get on this huge tangent that makes no damn sense. So you think to yourself, no wonder they're so pissed off, because they think all this crap is true and none of it is.
Well, and here's the problem is that because they can't get their confirmation bias from even the most sympathetic media outlets on the left, they have to resort to blogs. I had that today. I had an Obamacare conversation that turned into a climate change conversation today.
Oh my God.
I provided links. It started with unemployment too. So I provided links to Forbes.
Yeah.
All this climate science data, all these other quotes from media outlets. The person I was arguing with was throwing blogs at me.
Well, of course, because that's what they do. They throw blogs at you. Oh my God, and the climate change thing. I know I'm all over the board, but it's been that day, and I'm drinking a lot of apple juice, so I'm on an apple juice high. Climate change. I can't remember the guy's name. Eric somebody. He is a visiting scholar from what planet we don't know. And basically, he said, we must dismantle capitalism or we're all going to die, because the planet's going to eat itself if we don't. And then he went into this huge calculation about how industry needs to give 5 to 10%, which is their profit margin, up so that we can fight and protect the planet. And then he goes on some huge tangent about how this will also solve poverty and social justice issues. And then at the end he says, I'm happy to come on any shows who want to talk to me about this except for Fox News, because fuck them. So
we should invite him on.
We should totally. I tried.
I would have fun with that.
He wouldn't respond, and I tried, but I did write about him. But I am like, hey man, let's talk climate change, and he ignored me like a lot of these tough guys do.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why climate change is such a hot topic right now is because it's hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
Every year during hurricane season, as soon as we start getting landfall in the United States, the media shifts gears to, oh my God, these droughts and fires are climate change. They take the fall off. They enjoy the end of the summer. And then as soon as hurricane season hits, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. CNN got drugged today by meteorologists for a tweet they put out saying that Hurricane Michael is abnormal because it formed in one day and hurricanes don't do this. And the whole thread was, you should delete this. That is wrong.
Because
what are you talking about? Who did you get this information from?
They didn't. They got it from a blog, like your dummy you were arguing with. And that is what it is, totally about arguing at this point. Joe Kennedy is on Twitter talking about how Trump took health insurance from 30 million Americans. I'm like, are you on crack? I know you're a Kennedy, but come on. 30 million people. If you want to talk about people losing their health insurance, we should talk about what Obamacare did to health insurance across the country and the millions and millions of people who lost their insurance because Obamacare decided it was either too good or it was a junk plan. So now what they're trying to do is block Republicans from giving Americans a choice about what they have in health insurance. And what they're claiming is that it's a way of making the insurance companies richer by these junk plans, and then it somehow hurts people with pre-existing conditions because they are allowing Americans to choose what kind of coverage they have. Now, what they do not point out, and what the left just swallows, is that they're not saying, hey, we really can't have these guys making choices because we need them to pay for these huge-ass plans they don't need or can't afford, because then we have that money for the bloated program that we're trying to save. They don't say that because that would be the reality. So what they do is they paint, of course, Trump and the Republicans out as evil people trying to kill people who have pre-existing conditions to make money for the evil insurance companies. And I'm just dead exhausted. I guess Trump wrote a blog or some editorial about it, and Chuck Schumer pissed down his leg and tried to correct him with red marker. And yeah, it's and that's what we're running into is there's so much misinformation out there that we don't debate anymore. And that when all these people who had pre-existing conditions never had health insurance before Obamacare. They were just being left to die in the streets. You're on to us, which is crap.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's hard to remember before net neutrality of stepping over bodies, but I think the stepping over bodies of the people who couldn't get
my God!
Pre-existing condition coverage.
I would rail on this crap for hours because it's one of those in my wheelhouse things. Most people who have pre-existing conditions are going to qualify for some of the program if they're not on insurance anyway. But that's a totally separate conversation. It just drives me nuts. And they leave out the point that with this great new pre-existing condition piece of Obamacare, it caps out. Only so many people qualify. And once they qualify, they shut it down. So there's still declining people with pre-existing conditions, but they don't talk about that.
Right. Well, then they make that out that was the Republicans put that in there. No. That was actually in the paragraphs of what everybody says wasn't actually in the ACA with the death panels.
Death panels.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that was Glenn Beck's name for him, but basically true is that what it was is, they'll determine if you're worth the insurance investment.
Yeah, it is all misinformation, and like what they did with Kavanaugh. So they call Kavanaugh a gang serial rapist, sexual assaulter. They attack his family for weeks, and then they get all high and mighty because he's pissed off when he finally gets to his testimony. So they set him up, they poke him and punch him and kick him and pinch him and call him everything under the sun, and then they get upset when he's pissed off. Well, he clearly doesn't have the temperament to be a judge. Well, I would be throwing chairs at your head, so he definitely has the temperament better than I do.
I'd go full Macho Camacho Grande on the Senate.
They would have to arrest me. There is no way I could be in that room with those people who I know deliberately are trying to smear me to keep me from being somewhere where I should be. I mean, Dianne Feinstein, she should resign. She should be censored. She should be impeached.
I'm actually voting for her. No, you have to understand California. You have to understand why.
No, I get it.
It's because there is a worse progressive running against her.
I know.
There is a progressive that makes Kamala Harris look like Dianne Feinstein.
Well, and I think
so. In my choice of only having 2 Democrats to vote for,
I know
I have to choose the one who isn't.
She's not going to win, and I think that's one of the things she was really. I think she's just desperate and out of her mind at this point. So not only was she throwing the Hail Mary for Kavanaugh, she was throwing the Hail Mary for her own ass because she knows that the California Democrats didn't even endorse her this time.
Right.
So she's done. It's like Heidi Heitkamp. I can never pronounce her last name.
Oh, Heitkamp is so done.
North Dakota or whatever. Yeah,
she is toast.
Yeah. Oh, you're 9 points down, and you think, oh, I'm going to vote against you because I believe it's the right thing to do. Okay.
I've never seen a state flip to red so fast.
Well, you're going to see a lot of it, I think. And it's tough because historically, when one party takes the White House, the other party in the midterm kind of comes back and kicks the crap out of the party in the White House. So
and they get balance around the second term.
Right. Even if Trump wasn't pretty unpopular, I mean, personally, people just don't dig him. There's policy things that are good, and the Kavanaugh was great. But, historically, and Trump, you think that this blue wave is going to happen because this is how it works, right? But they've really screwed up.
They've gone plus 11 to plus 6 on a generic ballot in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, they've gone from double digits to single digits. And, this really, I think I really misplayed Kavanaugh, and I think that's what's going to finally push it over. Now, I hate to say I wish Kavanaugh lasted another week or so because it was making me insane. But we need to keep this fire in the Republicans' belly as we get closer to the midterms in November.
That's the problem with the right. We calm down too fast.
We calm down. Oh, we kicked your ass. Okay, I'm busy now. I have to go. But that's who we are. We don't have time to sit around and play politics. We have other crap we have to do. And, it's kind of like when they talk about conservative women and they're like, why aren't you guys out there, burning bras? And we don't have time. We have jobs and families, and we don't sit around being pissed off at the world because we have vaginas. That's not who we are.
But I'll tell you one thing, though, is that if Jennifer Rubin and Tom and everything, if they keep talking, they're going to keep conservative women pissed off.
Conservative women are pissed. And maybe that's their plan. Maybe we don't know. There's some deep, dark, super secret that they're doing. You know what? We're going to really piss conservative women off so they make sure they vote conservative. Maybe they're just so dedicated. I'm full of shit. No, I think they're terrible. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of these conservative women, yours truly, who did not vote for Trump in 16, who are going to vote straight Republican, except I can't vote for Corey Stewart in Virginia. I'm sorry. I cannot do it. I will not vote for him. But he's going to be the only one I ignore. And you know what? Tim Kaine's going to destroy him anyway. It doesn't matter. But this is going to be the first time that I'm just going in. I'm voting red because that's what I'm going to do. because I'm pissed, and I don't think I'm unique. And I don't think it's just conservative women. I think it's Republicans and conservatives and even independents and moderates and libertarians who watched what they did to Kavanaugh and who are pissed. So I think the Democrats are in trouble. I don't think we're going to have a red wave by any means, but I don't think even if the Democrats come up, I don't think they're going to take the House. And I know they're not taking the Senate. If
they take the House, they won't have enough to actually do anything.
No.
It's going to be a very small victory.
You know,
and it's going to be a part victory too, because I mean, they sacrifice so much political capital on the altar of political correctness.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be bad, you know. And I think we need to accept we're going to see some losses, and then you're going to see the media report on it in a way that is like this spells trouble for Republicans, even if there is no blue wave. It's going to be about how they came up and they won all these seats. It's going to be the number of seats they won. And then they're going to try and focus on areas that Trump won in where the Democrats won, because that's going to be a reflection on Trump. So they're going to have to try and find a way to spin it when it doesn't become the blue wave that they think it's going to be.
Well, they've already started that with, America's more racist and misogynist and the patriarchy than we actually believe.
I can't stand it. It's so gross.
That's just so your gross. Internal misogyny talking.
I think that's hilarious. I'm an internal misogynist. My favorite is when they call me a man. That's my favorite, because I've been told women don't tweet like me and women don't talk like me. It's one of those things. They're like, no way you're a woman. No woman talks like that. I'm like, oh, fuck you. And then, of course, they get all mad. And then I invite them to come on the show, and then they get all weird, and then they block me. I'm a chick, sorry. And chicks do talk like me. I'm not unique. I'm just louder than the rest of us.
Actually, you're no different than most of the conservative women in my feed.
I'm not.
And I think that's the thing, is that they think that conservative women are all the suburban mom, box of Franzia, and a handful of Xanax.
No. See, we're the suburban moms who drink bourbon and carry guns. That's who we really are.
Yeah.
And I think they're misjudging and misplaying what's going on here with women. I think they've taken us for granted. And remember when Trump won, and it was like 53% of white women voted for Trump. And of course, that becomes a reflection of evil white women. They're going to start targeting white women over white men now.
Because, wait a second.
It's true.
I haven't watched too much Handmaid's Tale, but it seems to me they're all white.
Oh, but hear me out. So now what they've decided they're going to do is they're going to start targeting white women versus white men. Now, white men are still evil. You're still evil, sorry. But it's white women's fault because white women enable white men. And that we somehow benefit from the patriarchy, and it's a mutual benefit from all the resources that the patriarchy provides to us evil white women. This is literally in the New York Times this week.
I know. Yeah.
It's like, what the? Did I just read?
When I saw that, I tweeted. I said, remember when we told you white women they were coming for you next? And I'm wondering how this – I pulled somebody out of that thread on that. And I brought up the California senatorial election that I mentioned earlier, because she's like, well, I'll only vote for women of color, progressive women of color. And then I said, okay, so in California we have a progressive man of Hispanic and Asian descent versus a white woman who's a liberal. Who do you vote for? Quick. And then it just became a whole bunch of
because and that's why they are trashing Nikki Haley, and they trash Condi Rice, and they trash all these women.
Yeah, she's a race traitor.
Oh, of course she is. But you know what? In general, women who vote for conservatives were traitors anyway.
Yeah.
Because Republicans are evil, and Democrats know better than we do because we're stupid. And that's what it totally boils down to with Democrats. They think people are too dumb to think for themselves. And so they try, hey, you know what? We're going to take care of you by thinking for you, and then you vote for us and give us your money, and then we have all this power. And look how happy all you dumb people are. They are so conceited that every time they lose, it's because Russia. It's some conspiracy. They were blaming Kavanaugh's confirmation on Russian interference in social media.
Yeah, there was one today from a Vox-splainer who said that it stems back to Gamergate.
You gamers did this. Damn it.
We did it. Gamergate cut Kavanaugh confirmed.
Woohoo! It was here for the gamers. Finally did something awesome. We'll take it. Win-win. But no, it's such a, they're so smug and self-centered, and that's why, and I know we say this a lot, that's why Trump won. People in middle America are sick and tired of being treated like they don't matter. There was a woman talking about how she didn't think that a vote from somebody in flyover country should mean as much as a vote on the coast, because they're backwards and they're taking her health care away and making her pay her student loans. And I'm just like, holy shit. Who do you think you are? These people don't want to pay for your crap, and you want to take their vote away so they have to pay for your crap? No. But that's who they are. That's what they've become. And it's all about, well, we're all inbred, dummy hillbillies, or we're suburbanites who are so out of touch with how deep and reasonable they all are that we need them to tell us what to do. And if we won't listen, then they're going to take us apart and dehumanize and objectify and villainize us.
It all goes back to what G was talking about in the last hour, how they don't teach civics. They're bringing up the whole, why does Wyoming have the same representation as California when,
they don't understand.
They don't understand the difference of the bicameral. Just, it's so goddamn frustrating. And this goes back to, you can't argue with, you can't converse with them. You can only argue with them.
See, that's the point. They don't understand that the Senate was never about the people, and it shouldn't be. We should repeal the 17th, and then that takes all that crap away.
And then you get the schoolgirl.
Yeah, I get it. And I'm like, what's so funny? It's the Constitution. I'm like, I think it's funny. And repeal the 16th, but leave the 19th alone. And people look at me like I'm insane, but no, whatever. So they're arguing that Wyoming shouldn't have as many senators as California because that's not fair. And I'm like, dumbass. Senate was never about population. That's the House.
Right.
It's about 2 senators for each state, so it's equal representation from each state, regardless of population.
Which it wouldn't be so frustrating if you just read it from Twitter randos, but when you're reading like this from senior political analysts of NBC News.
Legal analysts.
Yeah, well, I know he also did intel and security or something too. And
well, that was, what was it, Seth Abramson, who went on some rant. This was my favorite thing after Kavanaugh got confirmed, were all the legal arguments that had zero resources.
Or basis in law. Or, even
forward story, confirmed. I'm like, what planet are you on? Nothing was confirmed.
500 years of Western legal tradition going back to British common law. That doesn't matter because my feelings are hurt.
And Kavanaugh's an evil white man, and the Republicans suck, and I hate Trump. That's her whole argument. And they're giving Ford an award. Her alma mater is.
Yeah, of course she is.
Because she was so brave coming out and doing what she did.
No, I'm going to stop right there. If she was so brave, why is she not continuing with the investigation? She could continue with a civil suit. She could continue with...
Because she lied.
She could file charges. There's no bravery in being a media tool.
She's brave. She's terrified of flying, and she got on an airplane anyway. I'm dying. She's so brave. Oh, my God. And then, it was like Ellen DeGeneres and all of these famous blue check lefty green penises were like, hey, you're a rock star. You're so brave. You're a hero. And I'm just like, she set everybody back decades because no one's going to
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler. Oh, my God. Did you see her tweet? She quoted John Lennon. And John Lennon.
No, she quoted Yoko Ono.
Well, it's John Lennon written down. His name's by it. And it said, women are the N-word of the world. Now, she did not quote him. She just wrote, women are the N-word of the world, and then went on some tirade about how Kavanaugh and evil white men are, whatever. People lost their damn minds, especially in, I guess, appropriately, Black Twitter flipped out all over her. Right. So then she finally apologizes. And she says, well, I'm so angry about it. I just couldn't help myself. And they were like, that's not an apology. She deleted it. And they were still screaming at her. I think it's been a week or so, maybe ago. Good times watching blue checks say dumb stuff.
I loved reading that trend, too, because a lot of it was like, oh, Bette Midler is trending. I loved her in Hocus Pocus. It must be on. Oh, baby, no. What are you doing? No.
Well, and my fear is, oh, my God, who died? Anytime somebody famous is trending, I think someone's died. I'm a little cynical these days.
Well, that's what it used to be on Twitter. It used to be when you saw a celebrity's name trending, they had died. Now they are up on sexual assault allegations or they said something incredibly stupid and are getting drugged by the left. It's never because they're getting drugged by the right.
No, of course not. But and that's the thing is they act like we're the big meanies. Senator Mazie Hirono from Hawaii, she's one of my favorites now. Mazie was asked about how Senate GOP are getting attacked in public. Like at restaurants, Ted Cruz and his wife were attacked. They asked her about this. I think it was Jake Tapper. I could be wrong. And she said, well, it's just how things are right now with white supremacy and everything, and that's just how it works. And she basically blamed the Senate GOP for people attacking them in public.
Right.
Well, it's their fault. If they weren't such racists, then they wouldn't have to get, harassed in restaurants and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Maisie, but she's in trouble, She and Diane both, Chuck Grassley, that letter he sent to Ford's legal team after it was all said and done, and he said, hey, I want any communications between you and senators, particularly Senators Feinstein and Hirono. Now, why do you think Grassley wants those communications? They crap their pants.
Yeah, but the media won't cover that collusion.
Oh no, we won't hear another word about it.
Collusion means suddenly.
We won't hear anything about it. It's like those 123 kids had been missing, and they found them. Where was it? What state were they in? Was it Michigan? Where was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
They found. She helped out here. You know exactly what it is.
It was 123 kids who've been missing. They find in this residence, and basically there's talk of sex trafficking. But that story, where is it?
Nowhere.
And who was this person who had all these kids? They're not talking about it. Why?
Yeah, not named. And it's just like that New Mexico compound. Then that shit
disappeared.
That vaporized.
It disappeared. Even though they were released and they were starving, and one kid died and had been buried on the property, the story's gone.
Right.
I mean, people forgot about Mueller for the last month because of Kavanaugh. Is Russia suddenly not colluding with? I mean, it's
I don't know who was sadder about that, Mueller or Comey.
Poor old Comey. He's such a dork.
Looking thoughtfully out on the beach. Everybody.
Look at me. I'm in a cornfield, and I'm very deep today. Dude's like a giant. He's huge. He's 8 foot tall. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Freaking giant in the cornfield, being all thoughtful because of who knows what. But that's the big thing is, besides all of the arguing with the left, is that the media is only going to put in front of you what they want to put in front of you.
Well, and it's like I said earlier with the, you only hear about climate change during hurricane season. By the way, everybody who's in the path of Hurricane Michael, be safe.
Be safe. Listen, if they say get out, you get out. I understand.
There were a lot of people in the Keys who didn't get out, and
get out. And I get it. Your house, your stuff. You love where you are. You think you're going to be okay. Your house and stuff can be replaced. You can't. This is me on my soapbox, being a nag. If they tell you to evacuate, you get your ass out.
And listen to her, because she was nagging me. We had a bad brush fire a few months back, and we were told to get out, and we didn't get out, and that was the scariest night of my life, sitting on my roof watching how close that fire got to my house, knowing I had nowhere to go.
I nag because I care, but don't tell anybody I care because I got a rep to protect. But seriously.
Well, I talk about this hurricane thing real quick in the way the media.
Yeah.
So a week ago, scientists claimed that climate change is causing hurricanes like Hurricane Florence to slow down. So they take their time, they build up, and they become these really badass hurricanes because of climate change. Mm-hmm. This week, it's causing them to speed up, like Michael.
That's right.
Which is kind of a metaphor for sex, if you think about it.
No, we're not going to think about it. Sorry. Nope. TMI. Stick to climate change.
No, but yeah, it's.
Come on, Amish.
They just lie so much.
It's bad. It's bad. Well, Reagan said it's not that they lie; it's just they don't. They know so little. They know so much that's not right. That's what he said, and it's true.
But that's not. But that's not the case. This goes back to the mob thing.
Oh yeah. Don't say mob. You can't say
mob. Don't say mob. Don't say
Moob.
Chicago. Don't say.
Moob is the word now. We can say moob.
Yeah.
Moob. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. But, and Al in the chat. Al says it was Wayne County where the 223 kids were found, Detroit, or Dearbornistan. Dearbornistan. I see what he did there.
Uh-huh.
Clever.
No, and that's I saw several tweets from people who live in Michigan who are like, yeah, that tracks. Yeah, that tracks. And that's what's sad. And they're not going to cover that because the narrative there is something they don't want to address. They don't want that narrative out there. But, as the spurn coats, Max Boot and Tom Nichols say, we're all racist because we highlight things like that. Because, God forbid, now if he's a white guy with an NRA sticker on his truck, that's all we're going to hear about. Oh, yeah. But we would have already heard about it if that was the case.
Oh, yeah. And he would be a domestic terrorist, and they would somehow find a way to tie him to Trump, and that would be the end of it.
It's like the Vegas shooting a year ago.
What Vegas shooting? Oh, yeah, that one. The one that no one talked about. Remember he came out, the sheriff said there's no evidence for motive. Really? Okay. But, we're the bad guys. We point that out. We point out that things aren't getting done right because, that makes us evil conservatives. I think I try really hard because I really used to.
Do you?
I do. I used to really respect Tom Nichols. I did. We were good friends. He was supposed to come on the show, actually. And
I remember he was going to do. It was like the third show after I started working with you. He was going to come on.
Yeah, and I still think Tom is really bright, but I don't know what's going on with this. Same with like Rick Wilson. I used to really like Rick Wilson. We were good friends. And Jennifer Rubin's always hated me, so that works out. But it's kind of like I don't understand what's going on here. I understand when they say never Trump, they mean never. I totally get that. I was there. I was a never Trump so hard that I was terrorized for it. I understand that, but he won. We got to do what we can. And just because I don't like the guy doesn't mean I can't get working on what we're doing. And then they take issue with people like me now. They're like, well, you clearly weren't never Trump because now you're okay, maybe Trump. No, I'm okay, maybe the country's doing okay, and I don't want the country to suck for my kids, so I'm going to do what I can regardless of Trump. That's what I've become. I don't get it. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Well, I know exactly what they're doing. Tom is on MSNBC 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And he's writing for WAPO. Max Boot is writing for WAPO. It's like once they renounced the GOP, they got the special victimization handbook on how to phrase everything so the GOP looks like they're evil.
And then they get, the big money from the left, and there you go. Yeah. Well, that's what we should just do.
Just sell out.
Sell out. No,
just sell out.
My husband.
No, we're going to be getting some. Instead of saying pregnant women, say pregnant people.
Oh my God. Pregnant eggs.
Language matter.
No, my husband used to tell me it was a joke, of course, because he knows I can't do it. He's like, if you decide that you're going to be a leftist, you're going to be one of the biggest things on Twitter. And I'm like, I would hate myself and I could never do it. And he said, but you don't have to mean it. I could never even pretend to be that stupid all the time.
I couldn't either.
I couldn't.
I really couldn't.
There's something to be said for so Tom Nichols, if that's what he's doing, he's tougher than I am.
No, I've got to write something for WAPO. Hang on, let me just pop my head off, and I'll set it on the shelf and mash at the keyboard.
Let me stick my head up my ass, and then I can write this article, and I'll be done. I don't
get it. I figured out WAPO opinion sections. They're pretty much just a lorem ipsum of bashing the right. There's no rhyme or reason to the words that they use. They're just random made-up words that, something like Jay Cobb would invent.
Well, I got to tell you, we do a lot. We talk a lot of smack when we're on Twitchy, and I made up the word like rage babble the other day. It's not a word, but it was funny, and I liked it. So, I get it. But we don't pretend that we're some mainstream media outlet. We're like, hey, we're going to make fun of the left most of the time. That's who we are.
I write about Alyssa Milano. I obviously know I am not a serious journalist.
That was my favorite. There was some guy up in my mentions, and he was like, I don't remember what he was pissed off at me about. They're always mad at me about something, and it's always a guy, and he's really mad at me, and I send him like a meme. My son would be surprised, I said it right, not mem. I sent him a meme. And he's like, oh, that's such a really in-depth journalist sending me a meme. And I'm like, I'm not a journalist, you dumbass. I was like, what are you doing? He was trying so hard to shame me for sending him a meme because, that's not what serious journalists do. And I'm like, well, thank God I'm not one of you guys because you guys suck.
I aggregate humorous tweets.
I make fun of dumb people. That's all I do. And I write about really awesome.
And I do it for free.
You do. You're really sad. It's really sad. You know that, Amish.
I know.
It makes me cry for you inside. It really does. But, there's some good things. Some good things being around and doing it for free. Because eventually, people notice you. People
Did
like
we talk about it? Oh, we're going to talk about it. Okay,
good. I'm going to mention Doc Thompson. Doc Thompson is doing his own thing on mojo50.com. And he's your mojo in the morning. He does that much better than I do. If you know Doc, he's been on The Blaze for, I think, 6 years is what he said.
Yeah, it was like 6 years. He was on The Blaze. He popped up when Andrew Wilkow went off and did his own thing.
Dude is hilarious. I've actually written about him for Twitchy. He has inspired many a funny hashtag. And he's doing his own thing now. He's left The Blaze. He started his own network. He's got a lot of people came with him, I guess, that he's worked with. And Foobar, God love him, he's going to be putting our show on his network. We don't know all the details yet, and we don't know like what day and time and all that good stuff. But he spent almost 45 minutes on the phone with me the other day. Dude is awesome. I had a great time talking to him. Clearly excited about what he's doing. Takes a lot of balls, guys, to do something like that when you've been with a media outlet as long as that, and then you go do your own thing. That is really scary and ballsy. So if you get a chance, tell Doc Thompson how awesome you think that is, that he's doing that capitalism for the win. He's doing his own thing, and he likes Foobar enough to put us on his network. So,
and if you like it, if you dig that kind of thing, make sure to tell Rick he's awesome too, because he's doing the same thing with KLRN.
And he is. And here's the thing that's really great. When I talk to Doc, he's also going to mention if he's going to basically play the show, and as long as we're giving props out there, they're going to talk about KLRN. So there is this great relationship that I think we can build there, and I'm really excited. Doc is great, and the people that he's got around him are great, and we don't suck so much, so I guess that we're great too.
Well, no. Oh, Rick's playing the outro.
Oh my God! Is it 10 o'clock? Oh,
it's 7.
Haven't gone yet. What? It was 10 where I am. Yeah,
well,
it's time to go to bed.
It's 9 where I am, so let's confuse everybody.
Right, guys, stay around. Just got off the rails. Let's picnic.
Cornbread.
You gon' get some like a shotgun. Need some popcorn. I'm your prostitute.